Hey guys, I wanted to quickly share about a cool way you can support the show. Travel content creating and podcasting is so fun. But as you travel lovers know, traveling can get expensive. While I may receive trades from time to time, the flights, the behind the scenes hours filming, editing, recording, and sharing are often unseen and unpaid. There is this super cool website called buymeacoffee.com that was created specifically as a way to support creators like me. Buy Me a Coffee is a quick and simple way to show your support for the Trip Tales podcast. And Lord knows this busy Mama 3 could use a coffee to keep me recording and sharing, and maybe help with the grocery bill as well. I'll also give a special shout out by name to anyone who buys me a coffee in the following week's episode. So if you love Trip Tales, I'll put the link in the show notes, or you can get there by visiting buymeacoffee.com/Kelsey Graves. Thank you for considering supporting the show. Welcome to the Trip Tales podcast with me, Kelsey Graves. Let's jump into a new episode exploring a vacation destination that you'll want all the details about. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 10 of Trip Tales. This is an exciting episode for me because when I first decided to start the Trip Tales podcast, I promised myself I would at least try to record 10 episodes to see if it was working and if people were interested in listening to a podcast like this. And I'm thrilled that it is resonating and people out there like you are listening. We now have thousands of people tuning into Trip Tales to get vacation inspiration and wrap their heads around a trip they might want to plan in the future, which is so exciting. This seems like a good time to remind you to subscribe to Trip Tales wherever you listen to podcasts, because we have so many amazing vacation destinations coming up in future episodes, and I don't want you to miss out. Okay. On to today's episode. Today, we are going to have a showdown between two of the best deluxe hotels at Disney World, the Polynesian versus the Yacht Club. But before we jump in, I have to thank last week's buymeacoffee.com supporters. First, thank you to Aaron, who was our Disney cruise expert on episode 9 for buying me a coffee. I never expect my guests to buy me a coffee, so that was a surprise and very sweet. And then a huge thank you to Kristen, who bought me not one, not two, but 3 coffees to show her support for the Trip Tales podcast. On my buymeacoffee.com website, Kristen wrote, "Just listen to your JW Marco Island podcast today. We're going at the end of May as a family. Kids are ages 5.5, 3.5, 1.5, and baby on the way." Whoa, Kristen, mad props to all of your energy. Both full-time working parents and super excited about this vacay. Loved the podcast, super helpful, and got me very excited about our trip. Took your advice and listened to it to and from work. We'll listen to St. Lucia next. Well, Kristen, I literally teared up when I saw this come through. Thank you for the kind words and the support, and I hope you and your family have the absolute best time at the JW Marriott Marco Island. A quick reminder that every week I read the names of people who supported the show through my buymeacoffee.com link, which is in the show notes. Okay, we are talking all things Disney, Polynesian, and Yacht Club with my guest today, experienced travel agent Morgan. Welcome, Morgan. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Kelsey. I'm super excited to be here.
So let's do a rapid fire get to know you. Tell everyone where you live, about your family, and what you do.
Well, my name is Morgan Sanders. I am in Middle Georgia. I have lived here my whole life except for college. So I still live in my hometown, small town, in the center of Georgia. I joke and tell people it's the best of both worlds because I am exactly 3 hours from Atlanta, which is the city, about 3.5 from the Georgia mountains, 3 hours from Florida, Savannah, Alabama. So I get a mixture of beach, mountain, city, everything. So it's perfect. I am married to a guy named Benton. We've been married for, 13 years now, I think. That's hard to believe. Time flies when you're having fun. We have 3 kids. 2 girls and a boy. They are 11, 9, and 6. That's also hard to believe. And 2 dogs. I have a Bernese mountain dog, so a big one, and a Bichon, so a little one. And we are busy in that stage of life. And so, yeah, that's my family. And I am a travel agent with Travelmation. I have my own travel agency. So I'm an independent contractor. So I have been free to run and grow it as I see fit. So it's been quite amazing, quite the journey. When I started out in 2019, I hopped in just hoping to be able to fund a Disney trip here and there for my family. My girls were both little at the time. And it kind of grew from there. And it actually grew into more than just Disney, but Disney still has our heart. It's a quick 5-hour car ride for us. And we go several times a year. So, yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Well, congratulations on the travel agency journey. And we will definitely put her information in the show notes. So if you guys like some of the stuff we talk about today, then you can reach out to her and help plan one of your trips. Are you like other travel agents? Is it free to the customer?
It is. It is complimentary. So the way that travel agents work, just a quick plug here, is there's built-in commission to every trip you book. So whether you book it direct or like with Disney or with me, they just keep the commission versus supporting a small business. And so if something's wrong, and I'll give you a prime example of this, our very first trip to Disney, we had a small bathroom issue. There was a flood in our bathroom when we came back from the parks at 10 o'clock.
That sounds kind of like a big bathroom issue.
Well, my travel agent at the time that I was using got it handled. We got our room moved and we were, gifted something very nice from Disney, like moving forward. So, travel agents are there to be your advocate if something goes wrong, which hopefully nothing does, but you never know. So they can add extra perks. Sometimes you get welcome gifts, different things that it just depends on the relationships they have with the place you're going. So, yep, free to use and, just helps out a small business essentially.
Yeah, no, that's awesome to know. So everyone remember that. Okay. So when I posted on Instagram a little while ago, which on Instagram, I'm just my name at Kelsey_Graves. I'll often put out little, teasers for upcoming shows and ask if anyone wants to be on the episode. So I had put something out about the Polynesian in Disney World because that is where we most recently stayed. And Morgan was like, let's talk about it. But I also love the Yacht Club. And so we thought it would be fun to do kind of like a showdown between two of the most popular deluxe Disney hotels. So today we're going to be talking about both of them, the pros, the cons, what we love about them, what we don't love about them. And then in the end, we'll kind of like each pick a favorite. So I'm sure you guys go to Disney a lot. Have you guys been a bunch?
We do. We usually go at least 2 times a year. This year we have a couple more because my husband has got into the marathon. So he had one this year and he was hooked. So the kids and I are actually running a 5K together, that's a perfect 5K, right? To run with your kids.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't want to run at Disney? So,
I mean, we have the same age kids almost. I also have 3 kids, which I'm excited to have you on because Disney and other trips can be slightly tricky with a family of 5. So it's nice to be able to talk about those things. But I have a 12-year-old girl, an 8-year-old boy, and a 6-year-old girl. So ours line up very similarly. So let's talk about, before we get into the 2 hotels, let's talk about some of our can't misses at Disney. I mean, obviously we could talk about Disney for days and days and days. There are plenty of amazing Disney podcasts out there that I actually listen to whenever I'm planning a trip just to get like the most up-to-date reviews under certain restaurants and stuff. But let's just kind of do a little high level of our favorites in case someone is planning a Disney trip out there. So what is your favorite or your family's favorite park? I know that's really hard.
Yes, our favorite park is an unusual one. We love Epcot, and I think you and I have seen that we're similar on this. Oftentimes my clients are like, my kids aren't old enough for Epcot. I'm going to skip it. And as an adult, Epcot's amazing, right? Like the World Showcase, you have 11 countries there. You can eat, drink, experience all the different countries. And they actually have people working in each country that is from that country. Disney's great about that. My kids love Epcot because it's a slower paced park. You're not running across Magic Kingdom trying to hit all the rides. But they love being able to explore the country. So like there's little kids stations in each of the 11 countries. And we bought like fake passports before and they'll stamp them in each country or give you a sticker, write your name in that language, like using their letters. Like it's just cool because they're kind of hidden. And so you have to explore the stores and we just
I've
don't
never
rush.
noticed those before. So like,
Yes.
where is one that you can explain? Like, where is that? What does it look like if we're looking for them?
Yeah, so in the USA, that's one of the 11 countries that's like at the very middle of the showcase. It is kind of like towards the bathroom. So like you have this big white building with like a smokehouse with smoked turkey legs. If you go around to the side, there's one right there. It's actually outdoors. In China, it's in a store. So you just have to hunt. Like you
What does
explore
it
the
look like?
store.
Is it just a little counter
Little
or?
table, yep. In Canada, it's in a little pavilion, and there's a table, and it says "Kid Cot," and you just walk up, and sometimes there's postcards. One year there was Duffy Bear themes. It changes constantly. Ziploc sponsored it one year, so you got a little Ziploc bag with handles like a little suitcase, and got a
How
postcard from
cute.
every country.
So
And
you
so
guys bring your own little pretend passports. That's not something that Disney like hands out, and then you let the kids stamp them.
you can. There's all sorts of cute Etsy options I can send you, but there is passports at Disney at Epcot that you can actually buy, like
Okay.
at the stand at the front of the park, and take that around the world. And then they also have whatever their freebie is at the time, whether it's like a cutout Duffy Bear, like one of their things. One year it was the Ziploc bags with postcards. So every year it's different.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
See, I learned something new about Epcot today. Epcot is also our family's favorite park. And I feel like most of the kids even agree. Like, we, of course, love so many things about the other parks, but we are obsessed with the Guardians Cosmic Rewind ride. And you
That's
guys, I'm telling you, I like theme parks. I really like them for my kids more. I go because I love to see my kids having a good time. When I tell you this is the best ride I've ever been on in my entire life, you have to go on this ride. My 12-year-old and 8-year-old love it. My 6-year-old hasn't done it yet, but it is just like you are being blasted around the what would you say, space,
yeah, space Cosmic
lights,
Rewind.
music. I don't even know anything about these movies and these characters, to be honest, but it doesn't matter. We did it twice, and like if I go back, I would try to do it twice in one day again, because it is that thrilling, that good. You're in the dark, you're spinning around, there's screens, but not in a way that makes you feel motion sickness. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
sure some people do, but my middle guy can get a little motion sickness on like car rides in the mountains and stuff. He went on it completely fine.
Yeah.
So I just had to give a plug because I feel like I can't say enough words about how fun that ride is.
Yes, same. Soarin' used to be my favorite ride at Epcot, and it's still amazing. I love Soarin'. It's a classic. But Guardians, they hit it out of the park when they did that ride. It's a close contender with Hagrid's at Universal, if anybody knows what that is. That's an amazing ride. But Guardians is totally immersive. You have a different song every time you ride. You never know what you're going to get, like from the movies. And then also, if you get a chance to ask the person at the front of the line, hey, I'd like to ride at the front or the back actually turns into the front. It's totally different experiences at both. It is super cool.
That is a great tip. We went to Universal within this last year and we didn't make it to Hagrid's, and it was such a bummer because it was like an add-on extra trip. It wasn't like fully planned for a long time, and we were all really tired. We were coming from different directions. My husband flew in with the two littles that day. I was down in Orlando for a dance competition with my oldest. It was just like kind of chaotic. And we needed sleep so badly that I had to make that like mom decision to be like, we're sleeping. We need to sleep or this next day is going to be awful. So we didn't get to go on it. And we loved Universal, but that's a different podcast. Maybe we can do a different one on that. But I have seen some POVs of that ride and I'm like, that looks super awesome too. But
Yeah.
Soarin' is also like probably my second favorite ride. It's just so good for the whole family. It's such a feel good. Even my littlest absolutely loved it. We, of course, love Frozen and Remy. Like, those are just such fun rides for kids and adults. And you're in the countries. Like you said, I went into the little, I forget what it's called. You probably know, but it's kind of like a bakery bread shop in the Frozen area.
Oh, Norway. Oh, where
Oh,
the
Norway.
Swedish bread is, or
Yes.
the school bread.
School
Oh,
bread. Yeah. I went in
yeah.
there because we were kind of waiting to meet Anna and Elsa. And I was like, I'm just going to pop in here and grab a coffee and see what they have. And all the girls, I was like, I'm in Norway. Like, all the girls had these like blonde braids and these accents, and their names. I was like, I had forgotten that they hire people from the countries, but that is such a cool touch. So yeah, I know some people say, okay, Epcot's a little cheesy because you're not really going to the countries, but hey, it's a good first stop when you've got little kids.
It is, and there's so many food options. So it's not like if you want to go and have a taco in Mexico, you can grab it on your way to France to get an ice cream sandwich on a brioche, like brioche.
Yes. Brioche.
It's amazing.
One of our other favorite experiences at Epcot was eating at Space 220, the restaurant. There's a lot of like mixed opinions on this, just like any restaurant in Disney World, to be honest, because it's pretty expensive. But
Mhm.
my family and my kids' ages, we had the absolute best time. I think we went for lunch instead of dinner in the middle of the day, but now I'm kind of forgetting. It is very expensive. You got a budget for it. You kind of see the bill at the end and you're like, whoa. Like I would say like hundreds of dollars for lunch, but it feels like you're blasting off into space. And when you get up into the room, it looks like you're in a space station with all these images of astronauts and funny things floating by too. Like there'll be like someone having a lightsaber fight and stuff floating off into the distance. And then the drinks are super fun. They come with like light up ice cubes and pop rocks. And the food, we thought the food was great. Like we're in a
Yeah.
theme park. We're not eating burgers and French fries, which I don't mind eating that either. But the food was great. You can kind of do a little research ahead of time to see what's really good. But I just wanted to mention that as well because that was super memorable for our family. And I would love to do it again sometime.
And I think the cool thing about Epcot too is that was Walt Disney's like original dream. Like he wanted it to always be like what the future is and like becoming an idea stemming like from modernism and futurism. And so like Test Track there, Space 220, Guardians, like it's constantly changing. They just added a new Moana like walkthrough that's got all this water stuff. So that's super cool. And they're just always looking towards the future. I just think it's a great park with lots of immersive experiences. Speaking of food, Garden Grill is a character meal that our family loves. It is expensive there. I'm glad they brought the dining plan back so you can like budget to make payments and pay it off before you go. But the restaurant actually spends and they use food that they actually grow on Disney property. So if you eat there and then ride Live on the Land, you can see a lot of the vegetables and like fish and things that they actually serve on property, like sustainable gardening.
We've never eaten at that one. We have done the Living in the Land, which some people think is super boring, but we kind of like it. It's like just a little educational break in the middle
Yeah.
of the day. But that's good to know. We should try that next time to get some of that sustainable food. And we caught the Moana feature on opening weekend while they were kind of testing it when we were down there. And we thought that was so cool. I wasn't sure what it was going to be. I was kind of like, water, okay, whatever. But the way that you can, I guess with some sort of cameras and stuff, you can actually control the water with your hands. And then when you walk through, it's like pouring water and you walk through and it stops and makes this magical sound, kind of like Moana could control the water in the movies. We thought it was lovely. You don't get super soaked. You could if you wanted to, but you don't have to get super soaked. And it was just like I think it's a nice addition to the park for sure.
I agree. Especially with all that space where it's taken up was a great option for that. And it's right around the playgrounds too, which I love. I don't know if y'all have ever stopped at those like cool, I don't know, I call them like I don't know, they look very modern, like the playground areas at the front of the park. We love it.
I don't think we have. We're always like on a mission to get somewhere.
Yeah.
We only do Disney like once every few years. We're not like a once a year family unless we pop over at like a dance competition or something. But so when we go, it's like that whole, we got to do it all the full week, like every park. And by the end, you're like, oh my gosh, I need a nap.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to talk Disney hotels. So for those of you who don't know, Disney divides their hotels into 3 tiers: value, moderate, and deluxe. And honestly, all are great. And I've stayed at hotels in all the ranges and always had a lovely time. My favorite value resort is Art of Animation, especially if you have little kids, just because there's really great theming. There are Little Mermaid rooms. I think there's Cars rooms. There's lots of different. The theming is real strong. So like you've got to know as an adult if you're going that your shower curtain's going to be like Little Mermaid. But they have family suites, which is great. It's a way to bring a family with little kids and not completely break the bank. There's fun pools and splash pads. So that's great for the values. Let's talk about moderate. Do you have any favorite moderate resorts?
I do. So I think Port Orleans Riverside has our heart. My husband would agree. We stayed there probably our 3rd or 4th trip ever. Our girls were little and they have, now our family of 5 can't stay in these rooms anymore. So it's kind of sad, but they have a royal room. And so the royal room is like Tiana, like gives you a letter at check-in. So don't spoil that for your kids. And then there's princesses on the wall. But the coolest thing that my kids love, and I have this video of my oldest, like when she was probably 4, like running around on the bed saying, "This is amazing. This is amazing." Forever lives rent free in my head. But you push there's a button on the headboard, and when you push it, it does a fireworks show on the
What?
headboard in the royal rooms. And so it's quite amazing. We can still stay at Port Orleans, and we're actually staying there this fall for one of the race weekends. But we now have to stay in what they call the bayou. So like the royal rooms are like the mansion look like of New Orleans, whereas the bayou is like a little bit more earthy feeling, like New Orleans themed. And so they do have a fifth sleeper in there. So you get the 2 beds, the fifth sleeper, 1 bathroom, a little table, all of that. But the resort's beautiful. It's got like the trees that you would see in New Orleans. The food in the restaurant, like the sit down restaurant there, is great. Cajun food. We love it. It's one of our favorite table service meals actually at Disney. The quick service is great. But one of the primary things that we love about this property is the pool. So all moderate and deluxe resorts have slides. The values do not. They have, pools are great, like Disney's theme, and kids love it regardless. But our kids love a water slide, so we have to do moderate or deluxe if we're going to be swimming. And you can actually use the pool at their other resort, French Quarter, like it's drivable, walkable, ride the bus to it. And then also when you go to Disney's Port Orleans French Quarter, you can ride the boat to Disney Springs, which is beautiful in itself, just riding and staying there. Second favorite moderate resort would probably be Caribbean Beach. It was recently remodeled. We stayed there actually years ago before, like when it was under construction. It's a massive property. They have fifth sleepers, but it's on the Skyliner path, and our kids love Disney Skyliner. It takes you to certain resorts, like we'll ride to the Riviera to eat Topolino's, or we'll ride it to Epcot or Hollywood Studios, or just ride it for fun and like tour resorts. Like that's also something we love.
That's a really good tip that moderate and deluxe resorts have water slides. And I do remember Art of Animation, which is a value, did not, which was fine. Like you said, I think they might like be one of the pools though that plays water music under the water, which is so cool. Disney has so many touches like that. But our kids also love a water slide, and I love a water slide because it keeps them busy and it's not bothering me for a couple hours. So I'm also a big, like, if there's a water slide, we're booking one of those.
Mm-hmm. We love it.
Okay, let's talk about some of the other perks of staying like on property and specifically at a deluxe. I know there's early entry if you're on property anywhere, right? Any Disney hotel.
Yes, on property. Yep, value deluxe moderate. You get in 30 minutes, sometimes an hour early. You just have to check the app for the park hours. It's the best time to go, and actually fun tips. Sometimes you get in even earlier than the hours. So like last time we stayed at the Yacht Club, Epcot opened at like, I don't know, 8:30. By 8:15 we were on Ratatouille. Like
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and that's a perk for the Yacht Club, which we'll be talking about, is that you can really get there. Sometimes I have found it's hard to get there for the early hours, not just because it's like you're scrambling and it's early, but like the transportation there and factoring that all in. And then once you get there, there's a lot of other people trying to get into early hours. And so then you're kind of funneling through the crowd. So I guess the tip would just be to go even earlier than the early hours, but sometimes it's hard to get the whole crew over there.
It is. Agreed.
And then, so is it that the deluxe hotels are the only ones that have the after hours?
Yes. And it's not every day. So once again, on the app, it's very important to always check the app anyway, because there are private events. For instance, there was a tool company that bought out Magic Kingdom the fall before last, like for an entire night. And if you didn't check the app, you wouldn't know that it closed at 4 to everybody. So if you were going for one day, so always check the app. But if you're staying at a deluxe resort and there's after hours, not an after hours party, like not a special ticketed event, because they do have those, which are amazing, totally different topic though. But it'll say like deluxe after hours, you get in the park and you can basically ride, and only if you're staying at a deluxe resort, like they check your ticket band, give you something. And they'll check it again before you get on every ride, so nobody slips through the crack. But basically, it's a great time to ride everything unlimited. Most of the time, the restaurants may not be open, just FYI, little thing there. I went to Epcot back in January during a deluxe after hours, and the food was not open. So I was a little, shocked by that. But the rides, it's basically a great time to ride the rides.
Okay. Thank you for all of that helpful information. So we're going to move on to our showdown between the Polynesian Hotel and the Yacht Club, which are two of the most popular deluxe properties at Disney. So first, we're going to talk about the Polynesian. So we're going to both share what we feel like the overall vibe is at the Polynesian. I recently stayed at the Polynesian in October 2023 for our fall break. And I had never been there before. I'd never even driven by it before. And when we showed up, I was like, this is my hotel. It's got these Polynesian Hawaiian vibes when you pull up, tiki torches that are lit, very lush landscaping and water features, a beautiful lobby. And then they have leis upon arrival. So as you walk in, the staff is like, welcome to the Polynesian, and putting leis on your whole family, which is such a fun moment to video or get a cute picture of. It really feels to me like a luxury hotel that could stand on its own outside of Disney World. So we just loved that vibe overall, and we were super impressed. What about you? What do you think the overall vibe is of the Polynesian?
I love the Polynesian because of the theming. I feel like it's the mixture of like luxury and Disney. I don't think it's not like a tack. I hate to call tacky because I don't feel like Disney's tacky at all. I think they do great with their Imagineers that come up with the theming and the designers. But it doesn't feel like overly Disney. So somebody who's not a Disney fan would still like it. It's just like subtle hints of Disney thrown in there. So like you may see a Mickey shape in the tile or something. It's very, very cute. It's luxury. It's got hidden Mickeys my kids love finding all over. The cast members, I think, really make the experience at Disney, period. But the ones at the Polynesian are just so great. It's beautiful, like from the time you walk in the lobby, and then it's got the monorail that runs through it, which my kids love to watch. And so when you come in the lobby, that's actually where the monorail runs through at that point. And then they've got different buildings. They've got a beach area that overlooks the lake, that you can see the castle. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful luxury.
Yes, I agree. Okay, rooms at the Polynesian. So one of the reasons we picked the Poly, which Disney people call it the Poly. One of the reasons we picked the Poly is because I had done all this research on best Disney hotels for family of five. And there definitely are a handful of options that are known to sleep five. And the Poly was one of them. I'd wanted to try it. So when we walked in, we were very impressed. A lot of the rooms have been redone, or most of the vacation club. That's if you're like a Disney Vacation Club owner. But most of the regular rooms, if you're not a Disney Vacation Club owner, have all been redone with this very modern Moana theming. Lots of like nice tans, ivories, touches of teal. And like you said, very tasteful theming. So there might be like a mural painting on the wall that looks like Moana and Maui's tattoos and stuff, but nothing over the top at all. A very like clean, modern vibe. So we had two queen beds, and then one pull-out sleeper sofa, and it worked fabulous for our family of five. You know, it's Disney. You're not going to be in the most massive room. The bathroom, that is kind of becoming a problem for us. Is I'm like, it would be great to have two bathrooms sometimes with all the kids. At one point, one of my kids wasn't feeling well. It's just kind of like two bathrooms would be nice. But for us, and it's an expensive hotel. So if you want to stay at the Poly, we were able to comfortably stay as a family of five in one room. What do you think about the rooms?
I agree with you. If we're trying to save money, I always recommend that. There are villas. So like the Disney Vacation Club, DVC, you'll also see they have studios, which is the same as a standard room, minus a little different, but that's like a family if they bought into that. Then they also have one bedroom and two bedroom villas at the Polynesian. The two bedrooms are actually over the water bungalows. So like I've had a group of friends, like I think it was 8 girls that all rented that like for one night and then changed rooms just to have the experience of watching the fireworks at Magic Kingdom from their private pool. But the one and the two bedroom options in these deluxe resorts give you the option to have 2 bathrooms, which is a game changer, but it does drive up the cost. So like even a 2-bedroom in the Riviera and maybe a handful of others have 3-bedroom options if you can find those available, which can be difficult. Splitting it with another family, would help. The Rooms are great. We love the club level rooms. I often do that like on trips with my friends because it includes the meals. I don't know that we're in the room to enjoy the club enough with the kids, but like that includes like breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. Like you can grab an Uncrustable and go and sodas. So that kind of helps offset the cost of the room and the food if you ever want that. And Polynesian has all the deluxe resorts pretty much have a club level option, not all, but most. And so yeah, it's a great option. We love the rooms. I love the Moana theme. I think they did a great job with that remodel, and it's just a beautiful resort.
Yeah, we saw those overwater bungalows and I was like, those are so cool. One night, a guy was like playing a guitar on the patio or whatever you'd call it, the overwater area. And like his group was like watching him play guitar and like singing along. And then there's the fireworks. And I was like, that looks like a pretty magical
Yes,
bungalow.
very much so. Very much so.
Okay, but at Disney, you're not really in the rooms much. So we'll talk about the outdoor areas at the Poly. So they have two pools. One we called the volcano pool because there is a volcano water slide that my kids absolutely loved. That's more of kind of like the kids' family pool. And there is a splash pad off to the side there as well for littles to kind of hang out in, a couple little mini water slides there and water features. And then there's what we called the calm pool, which I actually loved because it wasn't adults only or anything, but it was just calmer. Lots of tiki torches around it, a nice little kind of bar and grill that you could order food at that we actually really loved, and some nice little cabanas that you could rent that people were hanging out in. And then, like Morgan mentioned, just oh, and there's a hot tub at the volcano pool, which is very nice. It definitely gets crowded, but that's nice as well if you're going a time of year where it's not quite as hot. And then just beyond the family pool is this beautiful beach area with some Adirondack chairs, lots of sand. It is like fenced or netted off, so you can't get into the water right there, which is great because we don't want alligators. But you can see the castle. And for the evening fireworks, they pipe in the music to the beach, which is so awesome. We were there during fall break, and so they were doing that special what's it called at Magic Kingdom?
Happily ever after, but they do like the
No, they were doing
Halloween or the
yes,
Christmas.
Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. And
Yes.
so one night we got to watch Happily Ever After from the beach, and the next night we got to watch Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. And from the distance where we were, because we hadn't bought tickets for that special party, you could see the castle being lit up like green and purple and smoke. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's Halloween at Magic Kingdom. But so you can hear all the songs and see the fireworks. And it's just, there were a couple nights we meant to go back to Magic Kingdom and we were so tired. We were like, well, you know, the kids can play in the sand, the adults can have a drink. We can still get a pretty cool experience here without hauling all the way back to the park. So that was definitely like something we loved about the Poly.
100% agree. I think the beach and being able to see the castle fireworks makes it, especially on arrival night. So even on arrival night, like when we're staying elsewhere, when we just went, we stayed at Old Key West in January. We were intentional about getting an Ohana reservation at the Poly the night we arrived because we weren't going to a park. That way we could request a window seat, which may take longer. So give some time for that. But so we could watch the fireworks without having, I mean, we could have went to the beach, but we had my grandmother-in-law with us. So obviously this was easier. And they play the music in the restaurant. And so all the kids like run to the window if you're sitting there. It's just a great experience.
Disney has so many of those magic moments. I just love it. Okay, so in terms of the rest of the outside area, they do have a lot of poolside activities. When we were there, they had trivia. There was constantly something going on, which was awesome because it just kept the kids entertained. They did this really cute tie-dye project. You did have to pay a little extra, but I want to say maybe it was 15 or 20 bucks. And the way they had the shirts tied up with rubber bands and they showed you how to squirt the tie-dye, you were making a Mickey tie-dye. My kids still wear them. It's so cute. It's a great like shirt to sleep in. And it's crazy because tie-dye sounds so messy, and it can be, but they had gloves for the kids, and then they put it in this Ziploc bag really tight, and they roll it up and they say, this doesn't need to be washed for 72 hours or even longer. The colors will just set in. So you just make sure those are really zipped tight, put them in your suitcase. You don't even think about them until you get home. Then, of course, you wash them separately. But it was such an awesome poolside activity that my kids really now have like a keepsake and a souvenir from. There were games, there's movies under the stars. They would put up a movie screen every night, and all the kids would just kind of crowd around. They have a little grassy area, and the parents would be hanging out, chit-chatting. It feels like a very just like low-key yet luxury resort where there's like a lot of parents chilling, kids are having fun, tiki torches are going, and it's just like that relaxed vibe.
Yes, I agree. I think the other great thing about the Polynesian and that grassy area where you're talking about is right by Captain Cook's. And so you can easily grab like the pulled pork nachos, which we love, and a drink. And also at the pool bar and the pineapple lanai, they sell the Dole Whip. So you can get the pineapple, or now they have different flavors, ice cream. And there's also the option to make an adult friendly if you wanted to add rum or vodka. So it's also just a great option for parents to relax and not have to stress about running around a park for a night.
Yes, I'm so glad you said that because we're going to move into restaurants now and talk about the restaurants at the Poly since we're doing a deep dive on the Poly. Like you said, Captain Cook's is right there, and that's their quick service version. So all the resorts have like a quick service option where you kind of walk up in the line, order from the menu, and then just get your food to go. But the fun thing about the Poly's Captain Cook's is that it's very on theme. Like you said, we also love the pulled pork nachos. There's lots of like Hawaiian options. So it's not your typical Disney quick service food, which we really appreciated. And they're open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then, like you said, Pineapple Lanai is so fun. People travel to the Poly by monorail or bus just to hit up Pineapple Lanai and like take a stroll through the Poly, which I have to say, I had read on all these reviews and, Disney Facebook pages and stuff. People were all angry that saying the Poly was too crowded and all these people were just coming over that weren't staying there. And I have to say, I did not have that experience. I thought it was completely manageable, completely fine. Of course, like people are going to check out other resorts and look at other places and try different restaurants. We didn't feel like it was overcrowded at all. It just felt like a normal crowd levels.
Same. Yeah, I've never felt overcrowded there at all.
Yeah, but Pineapple Lanai is where you can get the pineapple Dole Whip, which is really good. Disney's like yummy soft serve. They've got vanilla, and then typically they have seasonal flavors. When we were there, they had a pumpkin spice option, which sounds kind of weird. It was so good. We all were obsessed with it. I'm not even a big ice cream person, and it was delicious. And then you could also get it twirled with the vanilla. So it was kind of like a pumpkin pie with like, Cool Whip on top. It was incredible. So the Pineapple Lanai is super fun, especially if your family is like big ice cream sweet treat people, because every night you can just hit it up and get a little treat, and you can add rum floaters and stuff like Morgan said.
Yeah.
Okay, there's pool bars, the Oasis pool bar. We really like the grilled chicken avocado wrap. This is the Calm pool. Our kids even love that. It was like a nice fresh option after park food to get one afternoon. They also have Kona Cafe, which was our favorite restaurant at the Poly. It sounds casual because it says Kona Cafe, but it's actually a pretty nice restaurant. It's very Asian feeling, kind of high end feeling. There's lots of sushi options. This is a table service restaurant where you'll want to make a reservation. We got delicious food there, delicious sushi, delicious soups, and they even have the cutest kid sushi that's like in the shape of Mickey with little Mickey ears, which we thought was adorable. So Kona Cafe was definitely a hit for us.
And their breakfast is amazing. They have like macadamia nut pancakes and tonga toast, which is like almost like a bananas foster, but it's not. It's like bananas inside French toast. Oh, to die for.
Oh, we did not go there for breakfast, but we might need to next time because that sounds delicious.
Yes.
Okay, now we have to talk about Ohana because Ohana is like their famous restaurant. People, like Morgan said, travel from other resorts to get a reservation and come over and watch the fireworks. I feel like we've had different experiences there. And if you look online, there is just so much chatter about Ohana, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether the food was amazing or was the food cold and the service and blah, blah, blah. So Ohana's been famous for a long time. It has a Lilo and Stitch character breakfast in the morning, which if we went back, I'd probably try that because we did not do the breakfast. We only did the dinner. The dinner is like a family style, all you care to enjoy. You get salad, wings, dumplings, shrimp, chicken, beef, noodles, which people are obsessed with the noodles there.
They're so good.
Vegetables, bread pudding. It's just like the smorgasbord of delicious Hawaiian food. However, how about you tell your experience first? Because our experience wasn't the best.
So we've done Ohana a couple of times. I've done both breakfast and dinner. They do not do lunch, but sometimes breakfast runs late. Dinners usually start around 3 o'clock. So the breakfast is cute. I have a daughter, one of my two, that's obsessed with Stitch, and Stitch is all the rage right now. So that's the only place you can meet Stitch. Stitch is in Fantasmic and a couple of shows and things you may see throughout the parks, but to meet Stitch and Lilo, that's there. You also have Mickey and Pluto. They're also dressed Hawaiian shirts, the leis, walking around. They play music throughout it. We've done coconut races with brooms there before. It just depends. You never know. They try to switch it up. Breakfast is cute. It's family style, as Kelsey mentioned. Like they bring out the big cast iron skillet filled with like endless waffles. You can get gluten-free waffles, which in my opinion, the gluten-free ones taste better than the regular Mickey waffles, even though I don't have to eat gluten-free. Just FYI, a little plug there. But yeah, it's a lot of food. Bacon, ham. I kind of thought it was spam at first, but it's ham. All the things, and then but it's basic breakfast food. It's expensive because it's character meals. Dinner, I really like. It also is pricey, but I love having that option to sit at the window and like overlook the pool in Magic Kingdom. It's just beautiful to me. They play music. There's somebody walking around playing a ukulele like during your dinner. Sometimes they have different entertainment, but the service was great. The food is all you can eat. So if you eat all the noodles and want more, you can get them. They also offer all the kids things, like if you want a hot dog, chicken tenders, French fries. If your kid's picky, they can get them. The wings are good. I love the dumplings are like I don't know, like a Korean, like beef stuffed or cabbage dumpling. The bread pudding is to die for. I love bread pudding. I'm a huge fan of it. But yeah, other than that, used to pre-COVID, the meat was endless. They'd walk around with it on a steak, kind of like a Brazilian steakhouse, and take it off. They do not do that anymore. They actually bring out like chicken thighs covered in chimichurri or the steak already cooked and sliced. Like they bring that out. So that has been a change since COVID, but it's all you can eat. And shrimp. That's the other one. They give you shrimp.
Yeah, the shrimp is what tripped us up. So I thought the food was delicious. I do feel like it's just so much that it's kind of hard because you want to get your money's worth, but then you don't want to feel awful. And so for us, it was just like almost a little too much. Like we didn't really know, we needed to pace ourselves probably. Yeah. And then my son really loved the shrimp, and it was the first time he'd really eaten shrimp. And so he like really loved them and probably ate too many of them, but I don't remember how many he ate. Let's say it's like 6. And later that night, he got sick, like sick. And it was like hard to know if it was just that he ate too much, if there was something in the food. I didn't feel well either. Like I was kind of in the bathroom a few times. So I was like, oh, it just like whether it was that or not, people always say this is really disgusting and we're going to move on real quick from this, but people say there's something called Disney diarrhea where it's just like, maybe it was just too many park days in a row. I don't know. But for us, my son now is like, well, I'm never going back to that restaurant. And he's like averse to shrimp right now. And so for us, it was just kind of like, I don't know, take it with a grain of salt. It could have just been a fluke. I would just say like pace yourself because there's so much more food coming. Even the first course, which is so good with the chicken wings and the dumplings, there's still like a full meat course and vegetable course coming. So pace yourself because it is a lot of food. And I think if we go back, we'll try the breakfast because that sounds delicious. We love breakfast food. I don't even care if it's just standard. I can eat eggs, bacon, and waffles all day. So.
Oh, and they do have, I don't know if you've ever tried this, but at breakfast or maybe dinner too, they have the mixed juice like that's at Boma and Sanaa at Animal Kingdom where you get like the
I remember my kids love it. Hog.
Yeah.
Hog juice.
Is it like
because it's passion fruit, orange, and guava. So POG Pog.
It's so good. And Ohana has that for breakfast.
Yes, it is very good. That's good thought there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then I have to mention before we move on to the Yacht Club, Trader Sam's Grotto. So this is kind of off the beaten path. It's almost a little hard to find. It's a little bit kind of tucked behind Captain Cook's, kind of down a hallway. But this is a very cool Disney bar, which there's a handful of super cool bars in Disney. It is family friendly until 8 p.m., but we snuck over there one night. Our kids are getting a little older and we like let them have their iPads for like 1 hour and we hopped over there to see what it was all about one night. It is fun and funny. It is like an old pirate bar with just stuff everywhere hanging from the ceilings, kind of like you were in some old pirate bar. They've got all these cool drinks with names like Dark and Stormy and lots of like funky drinks. And when you order them, like something happens within the bar, like an action, like there'll be like a thunder lightning storm, or the pictures on the wall will change and you'll see like a shipwreck happening out on the sea, like on a pirate ship. It's just wild. The people in there are wild. When we were there were like a lot of Disney adults that were just having the time of their life, hooting and hollering, ordering certain drinks to get the reactions. And we were like, you would have never known at like the sweet little Polly that Trader Sam's is just rocking and rolling back there. So if you're going without kids, even if you're going with kids, check it out at like 5 or 6 p.m. before it gets to be adults only at 8. Or if you've got older kids and you can sneak over there for just like one drink before bed, it's a fun spot.
Agreed. I think Trader Sam's is definitely one of the coolest aspects for adults at the Polynesian. And yeah, they have super cool drinks and also some, what do you call it? Like a souvenir cup if you wanted to buy like the ones that look piratey. It's just super unique.
Yeah, we had fun there. Okay, so that's our rundown on the Poly, and we're going to move on to the Yacht Club, which is also amazing, and go top to bottom there really quick because we are giving these two a showdown. So, Morgan, you've been there more recently than me. I went once a while back. So why don't you give everyone a feel for arriving to the Yacht Club, the overall vibe, and remind me if the Beach Club and the Yacht Club are basically the same thing or if they're kind of like two separate places.
I absolutely love to talk about the beach and the yacht club. We prefer the yacht club. Beach club is almost identical, minus the theming. They are connected. I call them sister resorts. They have two different entrances, but they share Stormalong Bay, the pool. So when you walk into the yacht club, it's like a nautical, like luxury, almost like a country club, but it's a beach, like Nautica theme. I just absolutely love it. It's got all the like dark navies and the wood finishes and like beautiful ships and globes that are like massive that the kids love to like spin. I don't know. There's just something about it that it's what I said about Polly. It's luxury with Disney touches. And amazing cast members there.
Like a New England vibe, like a high-end New England vibe.
Yes, like you're up at Cape Cod almost, that feel. And the beach club is a beach theme, like it's light, airy, like light greens and kind of some coral but very faint. Like it's just very beach themed. Same with the murals on the walls and the paintings. You have like Mickey and Minnie at the beach versus on a yacht, Captain Mickey. The yacht club is absolutely beautiful. When you walk into the lobby, it's very open, and then you have the hallways go in different ways. You have restaurants, you have bars, and then when you walk straight through the lobby, you walk out into where you can go, towards Stormalong Bay, their big pool with the pirate slide, or it overlooks Crescent Lake, which directly across is the Boardwalk Resort, which is also beautiful with like jelly rolls where people go and do the piano bars and stuff, and there's restaurants, and it's another nice hotel. And so there's all of this like wood walking path that takes you to Epcot and Hollywood Studios, or for runners, you can run. It's beautiful. I just don't think that there's a prettier place. And also, like the Poly, you can watch fireworks right outside of the yacht club at the dock at Epcot.
Love it. That was a great overview, and that was helpful for me to wrap my brain around the difference between Yacht Club and Beach Club. So thank you for helping us out with that. Let's talk about the rooms. What have your most recent rooms been like? We stayed once. So I guess I didn't stay in the yacht club. I stayed in a beach club villa. It was my parents, my sister was there, my kids, my husband. There was like a big, large group, and my parents were helping with the cost because I'm sure that these 2-bedroom villas are not cheap. But we did stay in a beach club villa, which was great to fit a family. There was like multiple bedrooms, a kitchenette, laundry. So if you're staying with a lot of people and there's people splitting the cost, the beach club villas are great. But tell us about your rooms at the yacht club.
So yacht club and beach club, there are DVC things at both. I do think a majority of them are at the beach club, not the yacht club, just FYI. So those villas are going to be at the beach club. Actually, same resort, different themes, pretty much, different names and such. But the villas are great because you also have that kitchen. So like families trying to save costs, like you can easily, if you're driving, pack food, or like we often will do, it's not DoorDash. What is it called? I don't have it in my small town, where you have it delivered to your thing and
Like
go,
Uber Eats or
like
I'm
grocery delivery. The
oh, like Instacart. I
Instacart.
love an Instacart order. I
Yeah.
talk about it all the time. That's like my signature move on vacation now. Even to get like yogurts and bagels and all that stuff stocked, that is nice to have a fridge and
Yeah.
a kitchen. You could do mac and cheese at night. It's like so cost saving.
Yes, it is because I'll tell you, like an Uncrustable in the park is $6. You can get a whole box of that on Instacart and keep it in your room refrigerator, even in the smaller, like normal rooms. But if you have a villa, you could save lots on the cost and you could take the food into the parks with you. So that's another thing. But so yeah, you have the villas over there at Beach Club. At the Yacht Club, you have club level rooms, so that has the lounge with the food and the different perks that they have that's included. And then you have the standard rooms, which is what we say in with the two beds plus the fifth pull down sleeper. So it is tight, and as kids get older and you need two bathrooms, definitely consider a villa, or two connecting rooms are also options at a lot of the resorts. But yeah, we love it. It's all the deluxe resorts have those options, where you can do villas or the fifth sleepers.
So
So
that's
yeah,
another resort where you can stay in one room as a family of five.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
good to
it's a
know.
huge perk, huge perk.
And explain level a little bit. I mean, I obviously get it, but we've never stayed at it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. So what is out for you? Is it like just in one big location? Tell us like about club level.
So club level rooms, and there's actually a club level room at one moderate resort, Coronado Springs, in the Grand Casino Tower, the new one, but the rest are at deluxe resorts, and it's not all of them. I don't think have them. I could be wrong. I'd have to spot check myself on that. But like Yacht Club has it, Polynesian has it, certain areas have it. And a club level, I know at the Polynesian they do have a separate area for check-in. So like if there's a long line at check-in, if you come during a busy time, they do have a separate area. I can't recall at Yacht Club if they do. I don't recall it seeing that. But club level has a lounge, so you can go in there, you can work if you're like needing to get some stuff done quiet while your family's still asleep or something. But they have breakfast, lunch, dinner. Sometimes they have like champagne or something out, but it's a enclosed room. You can only go in there. Sometimes like an Animal Kingdom Lodge, the club level's on a certain floor, like you have to scan your band or your card or whatever you're using to get to that level. But you basically save money on food costs. Like if you have time to go in there, they have full meals. You can grab Cokes, bottled water, take them back to your room, take them to the parks with you. So it's a plus. It does cost more, but you're going to spend it most likely anyway.
Okay, awesome. Good to know. Sounds lovely.
It is.
Okay, let's talk about the outdoor areas, which this is a stunner at the Yacht Club and the Beach Club. They share Stormalong Bay, which is the most popular pool at Disney World. It's a life-size shipwreck with lagoons, a 3-acre water wonderland. If I remember correctly, there's like a sand bottom to the pool, and even it has the best water slide in Disney. I think like the tallest and the longest. And then there's even a littler water slide for the littles. So tell us about why you love Stormalong Bay.
We love Stormalong Bay. When we're at Disney and staying at the beach or the yacht club, our kids want to be at Stormalong Bay. They're like, Mama, can we go back to the pool? So we always are intentional. If we're going to spend the money, if we intentionally say we're going to stay at a deluxe resort, which costs more, we are going to stay a day without going to a park if we can help it. And also on leaving day, we let them swim and then go home. So we always make time for Stormalong Bay or wherever we're at a deluxe resort. And I highly recommend that. I know an extra night stinks if you're paying for it, but it's worth it. Trust me, that rest day in between full park days is amazing. Stormalong Bay, that sand bottom pool, there's a sandbox, there's a lazy river with floats that you can just grab and go. You don't have to pay any extra for them. Stormalong Bay, they do make sure that you're staying at the resort. So like they check your band, your card, you have to show you're staying there, and then they give you a wristband so they know, that you're at the resort, because it is popular and they don't want people just coming and taking over. They have lots of pool games and activities. My kids love bingo, volleyball. Like you said, they do tie-dye by the pool. They do all sorts of stuff. It's like a cruise on land. Like you constantly have activities and the cast members are out there playing music. There's quieter areas to it. Like you mentioned, there are 2 smaller water slides at the back of the entrance of the big pirate slide. It's a pirate slide ship. It's just absolutely amazing. They have an arcade right outside of that. Bathrooms are right outside of that. They have an adults only hot tub. So yeah, there's a little bit for everybody.
Super fun. Yeah, we have played in that pool before, and I remember our kids just absolutely loving it. Okay, we're going to talk about restaurants really quick at the Yacht Club. I have eaten at maybe two of these, but not all of them. So I'm going to name the restaurant and tell you quickly what I remember of it, and you tell me your like favorite thing about it, or just like the vibe or your favorite dish or something. So
Yes.
Ale and Compass, I have not been here.
We love Ellen Compass. I tell people who are not staying there, if they're like, I'm tired of park food, this has been a letdown, which I hate hearing, but it happens. Like we don't all have the same taste buds. Ride the Skyliner to Ellen Compass or either walk from Epcot there. The seafood pot pie is my husband's like absolute favorite. They have the Parker House yeast rolls as an appetizer with like three different butters. That is amazing. The truffle fries, like if you know, you
Yum.
know, like that's one of those things. Their breakfast, they have like these chocolate espresso, like mascarpone waffles. They have like blueberry and bacon pancakes. That sounds super strange. It's very like upscale feeling, but people are in there in t-shirts and shorts. Like it doesn't have a dress code like some of the resorts, but it is, in my opinion, it's one of the best table service restaurants at Disney. I'm not saying there's not things that aren't, perfect in all of them, but it is amazing. We absolutely love Ellen Compass.
Sounds delicious. So it is table service, so you do need to make sure you get on and get a reservation for that one if you want to eat there.
Yes. And pro tip too here. So if you cannot get a reservation, this is never guaranteed, but if you get close enough to a restaurant, you can go on the My Disney Experience app and join a walk-up wait list. It'll tell you if it's full and they're not taking it. But like once you're so close, if there's no reservations available, you can always try that. And oftentimes like these that aren't character meals, you can usually get a reservation app.
And I used this app. I'm going to forget it now. Is it something Magic Moments or something? Do you know what app I'm talking about? That I put in, I had to like, it's kind of crazy. You put in a credit card and you have to even like put in your Disney, you have to like log into Disney somehow, but they're constantly scanning for reservations. And if they find it, they book it. And you just like, I think it's like $11 or something. But it was so helpful for me because, like I said, we're only going once every, um, few years. And so I'm going to look it up really quick because I was so thankful for this and I want to name it. It's called Add More Magic. So you go to addmoremagic.com. It's very user friendly. And they can get you your reservation. I'm looking at your Bippity Boppity Boutique reservation has been booked for one person at 8:30 a.m. And then my credit card was charged $9. And I was like, that was worth it to get my daughter her appointment. And it worked for every single thing we needed. I think it's just like one of those apps. I'm sure Disney doesn't like these apps, but Cape May Cafe. We went here for breakfast. They have a great character breakfast where all the characters are dressed in cute beachy outfits. I remember it being easy, spacious, good food, and lots of those cute like Mickey, Minnie, Donald type pictures before we went to a park day.
Cape May Cafe breakfast is also one of the least expensive if you don't have the dining plan character meals on property. So that also is a budget friendly option. It's still expensive, but it's one of the lower cost ones. They do not have characters at dinner. It is a seafood buffet. Seafood lovers who love crab legs, all you can eat, that's your place to go. There are some things that are not seafood, obviously, because not everybody eats it, but it's a great option for those who are looking for that. Super cute theming.
Okay, good to know. Okay, Beaches and Cream. This place is so cute. It's a retro diner with like burgers, shakes, ice cream. My kids loved it last time we were there. It was such an easy family dinner. We did make a reservation for it. And they have this really fun thing called the kitchen sink, which is $38. But whenever someone orders it, they like sound the alarm, ring the bell. There's like all this hoopla, and they bring out this massive kitchen sink filled with, I'm just going to read it from the website, scoops of vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, cookies and cream, and mint chocolate chip ice cream, topped with hot fudge, peanut butter, Snickers pieces, fresh brownie, and smothered in every additional topping we have. So again, if you don't want to feel sick the next day, maybe don't order the kitchen sink, but it's a very fun, like a lot of people are hooting and hollering when that happens. So have you guys eaten there?
Yes, we have ate beaches and cream for dinner, and also if you don't have a reservation there, they do have a walk-up counter outside. It's got like adult spiked milkshakes, and then also you can grab some regular ice cream. So that's another option. The reservations at Beaches to Cream have become a little bit more difficult to get. Like those go kind of fast because it does have the best ice cream and like treats. Now we've never ordered the kitchen sink. That's way more that I want to eat, but I have seen people get it when they sound the alarm. We'll go and grab grilled cheeses and, clubs and things like that.
Okay. Moving on to the Beach Club Marketplace. This sounds like this is their quick service. I can't really even remember.
It is. So their Beach Club Marketplace is the quick service. Yacht Club also has one. So there's one on both sides of the resorts.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So there's a quick service on both. There's table services on both. I forgot to mention this earlier. Value resorts do not have table service meals, only moderates and deluxes. So if you're at a value resort, you only have that quick service like food court area. In Beach and Yacht Club, it's not necessarily, I mean, I guess you could call it a food court, but it's kind of like a store with that. So like you've got cold stuff, kind of like at a nice like Wawa or a gas station where you can walk up and like grab pickles or boiled eggs. And then you also have things in like refrigerators, like at a grocery store where your milk and stuff is, where you would grab like canned drinks, bottled drinks, like the wine to go, things like that. And then you also have hot options and coffee. And at the resorts, if you have the dining plan, you get that refillable mug. It doesn't work in the parks, only at the resorts. But you can also purchase it for like $19. And the whole time you're there, you can go down to wherever the quick service is and refill your mug, coffee, water, Coke, whatever's in the machine, unlimited. It has a little sensor so it knows when you check out, and it won't work after that last day.
Oh.
So we'll try to bring it back. But
fancy. So smart.
yes.
Smart cups. Okay. Martha's Vineyard. This sounds so cute. It's a wine lounge. I haven't been there.
I haven't been there. I've seen it, and you'll see like adults sitting out in that little area. And I've passed by it, but never tried it.
Okay. And then Hurricane Hannah's Waterslide Bar and Grill. I'm assuming that's just outside by the pool, easy peasy, grab and go food.
Yep, absolutely. It's
and
right
then
outside of the Stormalong Bay. So like if you're going up the Pirate Slide, or if you're walking like from Hollywood Studios to Epcot, you'll see it right there.
And then Yachtsman Steakhouse. Is that?
We have not tried that, but I hear really good things. I do think this might be one that may be like a dress code. I'm pretty sure it's Latin Arcusis and California Grill and a couple of the nicer options.
Okay, so a fancier one.
Yes.
All right. And then we forgot to talk about the location of the Poly, because I wanted to talk about the location of both. So quickly, the location of the Poly, it's one of what they call the resorts on the monorail route. So like Morgan said, it's really nice because you can just walk up this main stairs in the lobby, hop on the monorail. What I love about the monorail is you can even push a stroller onto that thing. Disney just makes it so easy. We don't need strollers as much anymore, but you can push a stroller right onto it. And if you're a Magic Kingdom family that's going to be hitting that up a couple times, that is super convenient. I will say Magic Kingdom's kind of like the only convenient one. Every other day when I was trying to get somewhere, you can easily Google like easiest way to get from point A to point B in Disney, and what you need to do is going to come up. It always felt a little complicated. And honestly, Lyft is Disney's preferred transportation option. And we have a Chase Sapphire credit card that we like, and they partner with Lyft and give you 5 times points back. So that was like kind of a no-brainer for us. A lot of days when we were scrambling, I would just order a Lyft. It would not be that much money, pulls right up to your resort. You all pile in, it drops you right where you need to be. That was like a nice tip for us not to wait for a bus forever. It really wasn't that expensive. But I will say, outside of the Magic Kingdom, the Poly does feel a little removed.
Yes. And also when you're going to, I can't remember if it's Epcot or Magic, you do have to change monorails at the Ticket and Transportation Center. So you have to get off, go down the ramp and go up the ramp to get at the Ticket and Transportation Center, which is where the parking lot for if you're driving to Magic Kingdom is, and go. So it's not like a
straight shot
process always.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now back to the yacht club where we just were. Location of that. Okay. All I remember is that it was a dream. I would just like walk out of the yacht club, turn, and be walking into Epcot. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Especially for, like you said, Epcot being our favorite park and a place where you can pop in and out and get food or drinks. Just to be able to walk over there, I just feel like that location is awesome.
Absolutely. So you literally walk out and you turn left, and you're like less than 5 minutes to the International Gateway at Epcot, which is the back entrance. So while everybody else is funneling in the front by the ball, you're coming in the back, and you can turn right and like go straight to Ratatouille and knock it out, or left and head up to Soarin, which are two, longer lines at times, and knock those out. So it's a great option. And then also, if you enjoy a walk, like I wouldn't say it's a mile, but it's probably a 10 or 15-minute walk to Hollywood Studios. It's not bad, especially you'd be waiting that on a bus. And so you can easily walk, or, to Hollywood Studios. There's also a boat that comes in Crescent Lake, and it goes to the boardwalk. Beach and Yacht Club share the dock, and then it goes to Disney Swan and Dolphin hotels, and it takes you to Hollywood Studios or Epcot, which it's really not worth riding to Epcot, but if you wanted to. And so that can take a little bit longer, but it's a great option, especially for wheelchair strollers. You don't have to fold them up. And there is the Skyliner that goes from Epcot's International Gateway to Hollywood Studios. So if you didn't want to walk or take the boat, you could walk quickly to the Skyliner at the back entrance of Epcot, get on it, and ride that to Hollywood Studios as well. So you have 3 options.
Yeah, lots of options. That is very nice. I also forgot to mention that the Poly also has a boat, which we never took over there. I think it's just to Magic Kingdom because
Yes.
we were too rushed, but we did take it home 2 nights, and that was really nice because you're not in as much of a hurry. And it is, like you said, just peaceful to get out on the water in any way you can. So that was nice. And it did seem like that line was a little shorter than the monorail line. So
Yes, the
we enjoyed
monorail
that.
line can be a little crazy.
Yes. Okay, so since this is a showdown, we're each going to share our main pro and our main con of these resorts, and then we're going to pick a favorite. So let's talk about the Poly first. My main pro is that it's a relaxed Polynesian vibe, and it doesn't feel like you're at Disney. So if you're not a huge Disney fan, this is a great option because you'll feel like you're at a fancy hotel, and you truly feel like you leave Disney for the day. That's what we kept saying every night is Disney we love, and it's crazy and it's busy and it's so themed. And then we got back to the Poly and we were like, we're not at Disney anymore. That's kind of what it felt like. Many days we'd head back to the resort in the late afternoon for like some swim time with full intention of returning to the parks. And then we didn't because we just loved being there so much and no one wanted to leave those relaxing pools. The pools are fun. They have a lot of great adult beverages, Dole Whip on repeat, and the Magic Kingdom fireworks. I know I'm saying more than one main pro, but the evenings are just so lovely here. And then my main con for the Poly is that the food is just tricky. It's kind of like a pro and a con because we definitely loved the food. And I love that there are different options than your traditional park food, but sometimes you just want something simple and fresh. And the food at the Poly is a bit non-traditional, like ohana and sushi and Hawaiian pork. And so sometimes the food, it just feels like a little bit too much, not traditional options. So why don't you go with your main pro of the Poly?
Yeah, I think the Poly is just a beautiful resort overall. It's definitely an immersive experience. I almost feel like we haven't been to Disney's Alani in Hawaii yet. It's on our bucket list, but I almost feel like this is a slice of that. And I know that it's totally different, but I just feel like I'm in Hawaii or somewhere. I love the activities at the Disney Polynesian, the theming, we love Ohana, we love the lay greetings. I love that you have options for the villas and the rooms that you can get. And then I love the location of it. It is very close to Magic Kingdom with a monorail option. And so at Christmas, our kids love, like if we're ever there in November or December, our kids like to get on the monorail and ride to the other resorts. So there's 2 different monorails that cross, and we'll go visit the Grand Floridian and see the gingerbread house that they build at Christmas and do all that thing that's beautiful. And then also to the Contemporary because the gift shops have totally different things. So it's a great option year round.
Okay, what's your con of the Poly?
I don't really have a ton of cons. I will say it is a little dark feeling just because of the colors. So that's one thing. I feel the same thing about Animal Kingdom Lodge, but neither would keep me from staying it there.
Like a lot of wooden structures.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's not light and airy. The other thing is there's only 2 elevators in that main building. So if you had somebody with accessibility issues or you have a stroller, we've been there and done that with a double and a single. Sometimes during busy hours, like when lots of people are coming in from the park to go to Ohana or something, it can take a while. Now, if you can go up the stairs, easy peasy, but there's only 2 elevators in that main building, so it can take a little while.
Okay, good to know. We're getting close on time, so we're going to knock out our yacht club pros and cons. So my main pro of the yacht club is that you can walk into Epcot. I just remember the ease of that. And Epcot is currently our favorite park as a family. And so I feel like this is a huge pro to be able to walk in and out. The main con for me right now, this is just an FYI for everybody listening. Stormalong Bay, which is a huge perk of staying there, is going to be closed, unfortunately, from January 2025 to probably at least June 2025. So for all those like winter and spring trips in 2025, just plan accordingly and know that this pool is not going to be there. So just heads up on that. And what about you for your main pro for Yacht Club?
Oh, there's so many. We love the yacht club. It's absolutely beautiful watching the fireworks at Epcot from the dock if you're not going to a park that day, or if you just are tired and want to go back. It's amazing. Stormalong Bay, it will be refurbished, so it'll be better than ever. I'm fully convinced. Walking distance to two of the parks. And yeah, also being able to see the Skyliner. I love just watching it. I don't know why I think it's beautiful. And the food, there's great food there.
And do you have a con?
I do, and I hate saying this. So the boat is a little slow. So I wish that it wasn't, but it does share a resort. So that's one of the biggest things. But yeah, I think the other thing, this is really hard for me to say because we love this pool so much. But one thing with kids as a mom that concerns me is the entrance to the big slide that my kids love so much. You have to walk outside of the gated Stormalong Bay area, cross the boardwalk where people can walk from Epcot to the yacht club. I mean, Epcot to Hollywood Studios, or, where people are out there just walking from the boardwalk around, and go into another gate to get to the entrance. So like with my 6-year-old, I still get out of the pool and go with, like, if you're riding with them, great. But usually I want to come back and like wait for them at the end. And so they're fine now, but I still am like that little hover mom. So I'm like, okay, let me make sure he gets in that gate and then I'll like run back in. So that's the only con. I wish there was a way, like a bridge over the boardwalk versus
I wonder if with the refurbishment, they're going to change that.
they
That
might.
could be interesting.
Never know.
Okay, the showdown is here. We have to pick a favorite. If you had to choose between Yacht Club and Poly as your favorite deluxe resort, which one would you choose? And why?
I'm a yacht and a beach club girl all day long. It's convenient. It goes to two of my favorite parks. Used to Hollywood Studios was not my favorite part. They've added Toy Story World and all the Star Wars stuff, which we're not fans, but the rides are phenomenal. And so it's grown on us and just convenient for that matter. The pool, the food, we love it.
I love it. And I've got to go in opposite direction. I'm choosing the Poly. We just had such an amazing experience there. It feels like you're not at Disney World, and we're not huge Disney people. And so it would be really hard for me not to book it again because I just had so many relaxing vibes by those tiki torches, my kids playing in the pool, watching the Magic Kingdom fireworks from the beach. It was just a 10 out of 10 for us. Okay. We could answer the question, but I think we already have. If someone out there is considering booking the yacht club, what would make you say just book it? It's so obvious at this point, but why would you say just book it?
It is convenient. If you were going to two of the four parks, it is by far the easiest one. Easy choice.
And I would say just book the Poly if you are not Disney people, but you love a luxury resort. If you love Hawaii, this is the place for you.
Yes.
Okay. I feel like we covered so much, and I'm so thankful that you are a travel agent because you had all these extra tips and tricks for us that now we all know. So thank you so much for all of your knowledge.
Yes. Thank you for having me on. This was fun. And
I'm definitely going to put your information in the show notes. So if anybody wants to reach out to her, she can plan your Disney trip. She can plan other trips, lots of other trips. What are some of the other trips you've been planning recently that aren't Disney?
I do a lot of Caribbean and Europe and national parks. I think Yellowstone has been one of the biggest things. And lately, people have been going to Puerto Rico. I've been sending them to San Juan left and right. You don't have a passport. You don't need a passport. And you can fly, and you have the beach. You have the town. It's beautiful. You can take ferries to the islands. So that's been super popular for this year.
Awesome. Great to hear. Okay. Well, we'll definitely have to have you back on because I feel like you're a wealth of knowledge, and we'll pick another location and do another episode soon.
Do it. Thanks, Kelsey. This has been fun.
That wraps up another episode of Trip Tales. If you have a trip you'd like to share about on the podcast, email me at triptalespodcast@gmail.com and I'll add you to the schedule. Also, be sure to follow the show so that you don't miss any upcoming vacation destinations. And if you have an extra minute in your day, please leave a review for the podcast. It helps more than you could imagine. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next episode of Trip Tales. Hey guys, I wanted to quickly share about a cool way you can support the show. Travel content creating and podcasting is so fun. But as you travel lovers know, traveling can get expensive. While I may receive trades from time to time, the flights, the behind the scenes hours filming, editing, recording, and sharing are often unseen and unpaid. There is this super cool website called buymeacoffee.com that was created specifically as a way to support creators like me. Buy Me a Coffee is a quick and simple way to show your support for the Trip Tales podcast. And Lord knows this busy Mama 3 could use a coffee to keep me recording and sharing, and maybe help with the grocery bill as well. I'll also give a special shout out by name to anyone who buys me a coffee in the following week's episode. So if you love Trip Tales, I'll put the link in the show notes, or you can get there by visiting buymeacoffee.com/Kelsey Graves. Thank you for considering supporting the show.